All right. Hello, hello. Welcome. So I told you that I was going to come live Monday through Thursday every week this month, and we're going to cover some things about getting unstuck and finding ways to increase your capacity to have the things that you want. So first of all, if you are new to this group, my name is Jenny Field. I'm the creator of this group. I'm a life and mindset coach. And my goal is to get all women back to their badass self, whatever that looks like for you and however you choose to go about that. But my goal is to see that happening. All right, well, let's get started. Do you feel like you're stuck in a rut? You're spinning your wheels, you're frustrated with being stuck, but you don't know how to get out. Like, I feel you. I've been there. I get it. Maybe you have goals you set and you haven't reached them. Maybe your self-doubt and your self-judgment has set in and gotten the best of you. Maybe you're just stuck in worry and fear and the what if. Or maybe you're disappointed in how something worked out in the past and you just can't move on. When we feel stuck, we're often waiting for something outside of us to change, right? A circumstance to change. And unfortunately, that's not going to be enough. What has to happen is, I'm looking, you can see a lot of the ceiling, sorry. What has to happen is you have to have that inner change. And that's where we, get uncomfortable, right? We are solely responsible for the change that we have, the change we want to have, the change that we see, the change we want to be. And let's throw in our own happiness there too. So we have to find ways to make that happen for ourselves. Change can be scary. It can be painful. It can just plain suck, right? But it's the only way to get unstuck. And I hear so many people say to me, I'm just stuck. I don't know what I want. I'm just stuck. I don't know what I need. I'm just stuck. And so it's high time that we get unstuck and we start to decipher that. Now, you're not going to get unstuck this week, but I'm going to give you tips and tools to use so that you can be working on them and start to see that improving. And so you start to feel like you're not always stuck. When you begin to make the changes, and they're small at first, and they're going to, you're going to take 2 steps forward and a step back, and then 5 steps forward and a couple steps back. It's okay. But when you begin to make those changes, you're going to see doors open for you. You're going to start to see opportunities open for you because you're going to shift what's right here. So we're going to talk about this week how to get unstuck. I cannot make the changes for you. I wish I could. I wish somebody else could have made them for me too. But I can't make the changes for you. If you aren't ready, it's okay, right? At some point in time, you may be. And if not, maybe there's nothing you really want to change. And that's okay too. It's okay to be perfectly happy with where you're at right now. You have to know that. So if you are ready to move forward, if you are ready to get unstuck, then let's look at some steps. What are you holding on to? What do you need to release in order to move forward? What of the past do you have to let go of? There is a reason that this is the first tip I chose because your past can hold you prisoner if you let it. And sometimes we have control over that and sometimes we don't. Those thoughts just creep in or we wallow ourselves in that, and so we need to learn to move past that. So what stories do you have on repeat? What stories are you allowing? Jot them down. You guys, I talk a lot about jotting them down, journaling, get them out of your head. Once you can put them on paper, you can start to release them. And it's something about the brain hand connectivity to put it on paper that you're able to just let it go. So that's one thing I'm going to challenge you to do is to just let it go. Maybe it's job loss. Maybe it's a divorce, a move that didn't turn out well. You didn't get a promotion like you felt like you deserved. Someone from your past or present has told you you weren't good enough, that you weren't skinny enough, that you weren't smart enough, that you weren't brave enough. Whatever that looks like, we need to let that go. One of the other things to jot down, what are you unable to forgive yourself for? What have you done that you can't get past, that you can't forgive yourself for? So did you lie to someone? Did you cheat? Did you cause physical or emotional harm to someone? Jot it down, or whatever you think that may be. What are you blaming yourself for or someone else? right? Something that maybe didn't turn out the way you expected it to or the way that you hoped. Jot it down. Jot down who you're blaming or what you're blaming them for. All right, why are you stuck on these things? Once you've got them down on paper, dig deep, like get a fresh piece of paper out, write it at the top, and then just brain dump everything you can think about the situation, what happened, how you feel about it. If you're pissed, if you're sad, whatever that looks like, jot it down. Sorry, I keep looking at my notes because I don't want to get all scattered on you. Why are you afraid to let go of these stories and these events? As weird as it may be and as shitty as those stories may be or as shitty as those events may be, they actually bring us some comfort, right? Because it's the known. Because we can say, oh yeah, well, I feel pretty shitty about this, but I have forever, and so this is just where I'm at, or this is just how I feel, or there's comfort in that. And so you have to be uncomfortable to let them go, right? Is it because, do you feel uncomfortable because you have to take a deep look at yourself? Like that gets uncomfortable, right? Like you have to process through why you think that or why you felt that or why you did something or why you didn't do something. It could be that as well. So processing through that makes you really do a deep dive into yourself. And sometimes that's where we have the issues. If all of this were easy, everyone would be doing it. But because it takes you magnified, right? Your thoughts magnified to figure it out, it becomes very uncomfortable. Ask yourself what you can do to live with these past thoughts, right? Or these past stories, whatever it is. What do you need to do to accept them? You can't change the past. You can't go backwards. We don't live, with a time machine that we can go backwards and change things that we've done, said, thought, whatever. But we can start to move forward. And that's what our week is going to be focused on, is how do we move forward from those thoughts and what we're doing. Forgiveness is the first step to letting go. So we need to know that as well. Who do you need to forgive? And how can you do that? Do you owe somebody an apology? Do you call that person? Do you write that person a letter? I'm not going to suggest text because a lot of things can get misconstrued, but who do you need to apologize to? Do you owe yourself an apology? If you do, write yourself a letter. Write yourself a letter apologizing for whatever it is in the past that has allowed you to be stuck or that you're fixated on. And do that. If you're blaming someone else, how can you let that go? How can you take that hurt or that frustration or whatever you're blaming them for and to let that go? One of the things I have done, and it has worked for me, and it's just visualization. I'm not a super strong visualizer, but I can get some things like this and I can get behind them. And so if you are blaming somebody for a situation or an occurrence or whatever, what if you tried to visualize the situation as it was happening that didn't go, the one that didn't go the way that you planned, and then try breathing as you're visualizing. Try breathing and then watching the picture dissipate, watching it all break up slowly, 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 and then watching the wind take it away. Okay? It sounds like, oh, that'd be so simple. It's not, because you have to work at it. Sometimes you may have to do it 1 or 2 or 3 times. Who knows? Some people are going to be great at it and it's going to, boom, be done. There's things that I've had to do several times. So be willing to do that. Be willing to allow yourself to see those things dissolve so they become a non-issue. All right, so that is all that I have for you today. My goal is to keep these short and sweet. I will tell you tomorrow's a little bit longer. Tomorrow we're going to talk about changing your perspective, how we're going to change your perspective on what's going on, okay? And then on Wednesday, you guys, my days are all messed up because of today being a holiday. On Wednesday, we're going to talk about your purpose and how to find your purpose or what your purpose looks like. And then on Thursday, we're going to talk about having belief in yourself. So I'm excited about this. Next week, we'll have a whole new topic and a whole new series, and I'll create that so you can find that. But for today, this is where we're at. We want to get unstuck, so we have to start moving forward. So hopefully you'll take these tips. I would love to hear from you if you have, how they're working for you. For those of you that don't know, I have just introduced that I'm doing an intro to coaching program. It's 1 month. It's 4 one-to-one calls. They're 45 minutes in length. It's $3.99, and we talk about what you want to work through on those calls. So in 1 month, what one thing would you like to totally change in your life or in your business or your relationships, so we can work through those. All right, I will see you tomorrow, same time, same place, and we will talk again. Bye-bye.